at the workplace, that being the workplace. And since at the workplace this thing has happened, it is essential to take a very serious note of the entire thing. Matter went to Supreme Court, and where these particular arguments were advanced that there has to be something by which women are offered protection by law against the sexual harassment at the workplace, because working with dignity is a universal right. Supreme Court has done research and found that there is no such law in our country. Supreme Court, having taken the cognizance of international instrument, which was Convention for Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, where India was a signatory, took the cognizance of entire matter and has viewed the things very seriously. It has been then read over, thought over. Since there was no law, it was thought fit that something must be done to offer coverage of human right to women, to see to it that the principle of equity is properly observed, is properly made effective, and something must also be done to curb the negative impact of stereotypes. This judgment is of 1997, and this is one of the most popular judgment of the Supreme Court of India, wherein Supreme Court has given judgment, and while giving judgment has decided that until Parliament will make law on this, this judgment will be treated as a law of the land, and therefore the judgment exists as a law. This judgment has an outfall, has a byproduct to have at every public places the committees wherein women are protected from any sort of sexual advances, any sort of colored remarks, any sort of act, omission or activities by which dignity of woman is being endangered, or by anything by which constitutional rights of the women are adversely affected, and to put into effect fundamental duties of every citizen written in Article 51 of Constitution of India, that is fostering respect for the international obligation and renounce all derogatory practices which is against dignity of women. All sort of derogatory practices are to be curbed, are to be negated, and therefore on account of that judgment, every university will have a committee which is popularly known as Internal Complaints Committee. I am proud to state that Adamas University too has such committee, so as to see to it in case any girl student is facing any sort of difficulty, maybe only by comment, by stalking, by following, by mentally or physically harassing, by only passing unwanted comments. There is a committee in which more than 50% of the office bearer are women, and our committee is headed by Professor Jayati Gupta. It is an internal complaint committee which is now constituted not only because of the Vishakha judgment, but also because in 2013 our parliament has passed one act. I would now like to share the PPT to allow you to understand. As I have told you, we are discussing student related committee. I am beginning with internal complaint committee. This internal complaint committee is meant to receive and records any complaint in writing. Therefore, it is essential that nothing should be done in the campus, outside the campus, otherwise than the campus, on mobile, on phone, by sending some message on the social media or anything which can fall into the inverted comma definition of harassment to any girl. If that so happen, she can give an application, and the committee has powers of receiving and recording complaints in writing, making an inquiry, and taking necessary steps. So for girls, it's a security. For boys, it is to be noted that what kind of activities are not to be done. I have told you the activities is inclusive of colored remarks. The activities is inclusive of all sort of gesture. The activity is inclusive of drawing any picture, sending any message, compelling any person to send reply, etc., 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 by which superiority of a male sex is not troubling the woman, and the right of equality of woman is properly taken care of. This internal complaint committee will also function as gender sensitization cell. When it functions as gender sensitization cell, it would see to it that the programs of gender justice, gender equality are being promoted, are being projected, and all of you are being encouraged and educated to understand the meaning of the gender. Gender is not a word of law. Gender is a word which is social positioning of women, in short, as far as India is concerned. Let me tell you, this is an international phenomenon, and in every country all these things are there, but it is more needed in Asian countries, inclusive of India. So friends, it be please noted that whenever there is a program being organized by gender sensitization cell, one should attend it. It is as per the direction of University Grant Commission, UGC. Now, under new education policy, some new body may come up, but it is a sensitization cell. It is to sensitize someone. It is to provide very safe kind of ambience, very safe kind of situation for all those girls who are studying over here. Moreover, this internal complaint committee is also providing assistance to women, because one who does not know drafting might be a sufferer, might be a victim, but might not be knowing how to draft. So such person also can come to internal complaint committee to orally submit as to what has happened, and the necessary action will be initiated. The most important aspect to be noted in this entire thing is merely taking cognizance by internal complaint committee does not necessarily mean that no action can be taken by police. It's a parallel working, it's a parallel obligation. One is at the university level, other can be at the level of police station or Indian Penal Code or any such committee. This is only in a form of a kind of a caution. It is always better to have a caveat. Caveat guides us in life what to do, what should be avoided to be done. So, advice to anyone who suffers any kind of sexual harassment should straight away reach to the committee. Committee has more than 50% women member, so no hesitation. If you do not know how to draft, they will help you in drafting. If you do not know what to do, they will guide you what to do. Secondly, for the other side, it is always to be on alert, not to do anything which can be formed as harassment. I hope I am clear on three aspects. One is ICC, sexual harassment, the background of it. Therefore, I have told you the background to make you clear that a penal code also can take action. And the fourth, which is most important, is gender sensitizations cell. Now we come to one another important committee known as anti-ragging committee. Similar way, anti-ragging committee has also history connected with Supreme Court. It is Supreme Court which for the first time has constituted one committee as to what is to be done for stopping ragging activities in the educational institution. It is the Darwin theory that powerful rules, weak suffers, and that also come in real life, and more particularly when we are young. To derive pleasure, we forget limits, and so many such incidents were happening. Not today. Today it is heavily restricted. There were days where it was not restricted. It was an unruly horse. And then so many deaths were noticed because of ragging of junior boys and girls, and things were taken extremely seriously. Supreme Court took the cognizance of entire issue and has constituted a committee. The committee headed by one retired IPS who was head of CBI before his retirement, and the committee was helped, assisted by many experts in the field, including psychology, including sociology, including law, retired judges, and many more. Then this idea came that there has to be anti-ragging committee in every university, every educational institution. Ragging should be curbed very seriously, and the serious actions should be taken against a student who indulge himself in ragging activities. Now, this anti-ragging cell or anti-ragging committee is firstly giving advices how to behave, what would constitute ragging, etc. Second thing is, as a UGC norm, affidavits are being taken in advance that I shall not indulge into any kind of ragging activities. But should anyone indulge, you should rise to the occasion and you should immediately report to anti-ragging committee. Dr. Rudra Prasad Saha is a chairman, and all committees, as I have said, are having members and member secretary. So that and all is a detail which you will find. You will find boards that ragging is prohibited, no ragging, etc. This is all to educate students to restrain from such kind of activities. So anti-ragging committee is a committee where any sort of ragging activities, if are reported, it will be taken care of. The students are advised to report any incident or any act of ragging to any of the members of the committee, which will take immediate appropriate action. The committee will immediately take cognizance of your complaint and will see to it that it immediately come into action. It will immediately rise to the occasion. You can treat us as your parent only, parent away from your home. Should you face any difficulty either in hostel or in classroom, you should immediately report to us. Never afraid of anyone. Be very brave and bold. Be awakened and aware about your rights, your dignity, your self-respect. Nobody has right to rag you. If someone does that, we shall take quite serious action against that particular student. He may be senior to you, but that does not mean that instead of becoming your mentor, he becomes a person who makes you toy and derive pleasure out of your pitiful plight. Nobody has that right. You must be assured about it through this medium, through this discussion, through this lecture. I am assuring you that we shall rise to the occasion. Don't you worry. Next is anti-ragging squad. There is anti-ragging squad. Not only that, we are functioning more digitally. Now we have blended learning. So you will have to attend classes online. So the facilitation process will be done to work digitally, securely, and quickly issue online academic awards to the student. It is thinking of issuing award to the student directly in their online NAD account. The student can access certificates at any time and authorize employers, banks to view and verify the certificate. Sometimes you have to apply to bank to take loan to pay your fees. Sometime at the end of your study, you may require your employer to be given certain information. So all these things can be done. The AUNAD cell shall undertake implementation of National Academic Depository and arrange to reflect the details in the university website. You have to also continuously develop habit of seeing websites. Students to be advised to register on NAD website. NAD ID should be made a compulsory field in the admission and examination forms. Email address and mobile numbers of the students should be provided to DigiLocker for automatic creation of NAD IDs. This is also one of the important information. Now let's come to Examination Grievances Committee. Chairman of this committee is Dr. Prithvish Bose, one of another expert, all our chairman of all the committee, be it Jaiti madam, be Mr. Saha, Dr. Prithvish, Dr. Naveen Das, all are my brilliant colleagues. And by seeing their name itself, I can be very confident that it is going to be handled in a wonderful manner, in a very, very effective way. We are going to handle it. So the function of the committee is it will examine the grievances received from the student and submit the report to the university administration. In the examination, you are duty bound to be very careful not to adopt any sort of malpractices. What is malpractices is commonly known to all. However, it is also being informed by the controller of examination as to what are malpractices, but you all have cleared your up to 12th standard your studies, so you know, and you have to complete here 5 years minimum, in some cases 4 years. So you must be aware that what are those things. It cannot be different than those which were there up to 12th. It will be more or less same. Malpractices will be same. Now with this, I have given you glimpses of the student related committees. I now tell you don'ts. Do's are whenever you have any difficulties, you can knock the door of these committees, which I have explained you one by one, and you are aware now what to do, when to do, how to do. Over and above this, you will also have access with your dean, with your professors, with the office of the dean to know more about it, what to do for what. All our academic staff will always rise to the occasion and will see to it that none of our students face any sort of difficulties or injustice. With this, I have told you in nutshell what are the do's. Now I come to don'ts. First of all, if you do not choose to live in hostel, you will be coming or you will be using our transport. Even if you are staying in the hostel, at times for going for academic tours, you will be using our transport. This transport, I have deliberately used word our transport. This word you should never forget that this is our transport. So don't spoil the bus, use it in the best possible manner. All the property which are there of the university are principally for your benefit, for your enjoyment, for your use. Therefore, while using that, you have to remember that you are personally owing it, and if you take that care, we will be able to give you more and more facilities, more and more benefits, because we have to see to it by that by having one property safe and secure, we can go on adding more properties. So point number one is about transport. If you are coming from outside or for academic tour or for some other reasons, if you happen to use our transport, all the norms which are mentioned for the transport, including payment of money for it on time, everything should be done. Don't you misuse it, don't you spoil it, don't you lessen its beauty, don't you put it into danger. Second thing is, having got down from transport, you see our lush green gardens spread into 120 acres. Beautiful garden. Our chancellor is one such person who loves greenery so much, so much. So we have to take care that whatever he has created for our enjoyment, we should enjoy it and we should not spoil it. So don't you pluck any flowers, don't you touch any plants. Try to beautify it if you can, but never ever spoil its beauty. Beauty given by nature to garden, if is taken away, it is natural sin, and I am very confident you all will not do that. The third point is hostel. Hostel is your another sweet home far from your home. So keep it neat and clean. Observe all rules of hostel. Try to cooperate the wardens. Don't create any issues there. If you have any misunderstanding or any sort of issue or something with someone, be it room partner or anyone else, see to it that you resolve it amicably and do not create any issue out of it. If you are unable to resolve it, report it to warden. There are chief wardens who are professor, chief warden of boys hostel and chief warden of girls hostel. So if you are not satisfied by saying to your warden, try to reach out to the chief warden. If that is not resolvable, you can also meet assistant registrar and then after registrar, who is administrative and executive head of entire university. So you have to take care that for every issue, for every wrong, for every difficulty, there is remedy should you not take law in your hand. If you say that he has beaten me, I have also beaten him, that is no solution. Therefore, be aware that you will not take law in your hands. You will win confidence of all with your good behavior, with your sensitivity, with your ability to sit in the chair of that person. That means understanding his viewpoint, and that's very important. The fourth aspect is on cafeteria. canteen, cafeteria, whatever you say. This is one place where every day you are going to go. There is not a single day where you will not go. Whenever you are going there, see to it, it must be recess time of your institution. In order to see to it that there is not too much of rush in the lunch hours, it has been smartly bifurcated. So whenever it is time of your school's lunch break, you go and have your lunch. Do take proper lunch. If you have any difficulty in cafeteria, then also the cafeteria also can be controlled by the university. So always have habit to report to the right officers. Now that cafeteria, the property there, the crockery there, the food there, everything belong to you. Have sense of ownership. Don't spoil it. If you do not need food, do not take it too much. We must understand it is national waste. I've also told you about cleanliness in the hostel. Equally, that rule is applicable to cafeteria. Then the next is that your own classroom. Be sure that in your classroom, you do not create any problem. You do not do anything by which administration may have any difficulty. However, if you have difficulty, we have mentor system. You will have your own mentor. The first person to reach out is always your mentor. Convey it to your mentor. If it is not resolved, go to your HOD. If it is not resolved, go to your dean or registrar of the university. But don't start anything which is unbecoming of a good student. So your ownership to cafe area, your ownership to class gives you a responsibility to keep it clean. So don't you make it dirty. Now, because of corona, we have another rule of physical distancing. Physical distancing arrangement will be there in classroom. Should we need to call you physically, which seems to be far away, except that there is government norms. So whenever any such instructions are given, see to it that you very, very strictly adhere to all such discipline. In your college, there will be class test. Attend all the classes. Don't you think that if I don't attend classes, nothing will happen. Everything will be reported to your parent. So be alert. But before reporting to your parent, we shall definitely contact you. We will try to learn from you that what is your difficulty. If you have any difficulty either in academics or otherwise, do not take any other route, but always take a route of meeting to your own people, right from mentor, HOD, dean, etc. That is very, very important. The next item is there are campus rules, which registrar sir is going to talk on the scheduled day. And therefore, I am not touching it. What are the campus rules? I am only telling you that whatever campus rule registrar sir will tell you, you should strictly adhere to all those rules. I repeat, every wrong, every injustice has some or other solution. You have to go to a right person for that solution. Next point is self-imposed discipline. Now we are grown up, we have entered in the college, we have entered the university, we have taken admission over here. This being one of the best university, we have taken admission over here. So our liability is to take maximum benefit of university. There will be library attached to each school. That library which is attached to each school will have to be used very carefully. All sort of facilities are there. We have also head of the library, who is a brilliant person who possesses great knowledge on library administration. In case of need, you can also take his help. Keep on doing research. It is only research which will help you in developing yourself, in doing growth, and in understanding the life, and in understanding the stream or the discipline which you have selected. And that is so much important. Self-imposed discipline is something which is not imposed by anyone else. It is imposed by me only, on me. Like Constitution of India, I have told you that this Constitution of India given by the people of India to people of India. This is self-imposed discipline is also like that. That's the best method to live. Those who are self-disciplined need not to have take instruction from anyone, because that's the right path, right way. Every person knows what to do and what not to do. That is even believed by law. I have made an humble attempt to give you glimpses of all student related activities. From that, I have attempted to give you an encouragement as to what is to be done, under what circumstances it is to be done, how can you do that, whom can you approach, to who you can go. If you forget all this slideshow, remember that every school has dean office, HOD, dean. Meet them, they will have solutions ready for you. With this, I have gone into don'ts, and I have told you some glimpses of don't. Do not do certain things. I must tell you in brief, but still very firmly, that I have told you about the internal complaint committee, what not to do. By doing what? You will invite complaint. What it will include, as I have told you, sexual harassment includes one or more unwelcome act. What is unwelcome act is not defined. It varies from case to case, fact to fact. It is also including unwelcome behavior, any sort of attempt or real physical contact, or any sort of physical advances, making colored remark. So all this is falling in do not do this, otherwise you will invite difficulties. Ragging is another thing. If you are senior to someone, or if you are bodily powerful to someone, maybe your colleague, don't try to create a situation of ragging. As I have told you about, anti-ragging squad is there for that matter only. Discrimination also I have told you. Don't you try by your any behavior, words, gesture, printing, painting, or any manners, any kind of distinction, exclusion, restriction made on different basis, that is known as discrimination. For that the cell is there. So that is also one more don't. Then I have told you about university disciplinary committee. Don't you breach discipline, that will invite actions by the disciplinary committee. Then the good news has been given by me to you all is NAD cell, which will appreciate you in case if you are doing something which is always welcome, pride, pleasure, and honor for the university. So be a student who can be pride, who can be an honor as a student of university, who can shower prestige, reputation, honor on the university. And lastly, I also told you about examination cells and all sort of malpractices related to examination. I have also told you don't related to transport, don't related to gardens, don't relate it to cafeterias, sense of ownership, sense of cleanliness, don't relate it to hostels, don't relate it to campus rules, don't relate it to discipline, don't relate it to any norms which have been kept like physical distancing in Corona by the university. You should be the one who can be better known as a soldier of this university. We all are extremely proud of you and wish you a great luck, a very good luck, and always bless you all should you do something which is proud worthy for us, by which we can take proud for you. I am more than confident that the youth of today has a wonderful capacity. If they wish, they can do many things. Technology is also at your assistance, and therefore your ability can make marvels. It can make any charismas. It can make a magical touch. It can be a King Midas touch. With that, I end my saying on do and don'ts and student related committee. I am thankful to Honorable Chancellor and Vice Chancellor for having offered me, for having showered me this wonderful opportunity to talk to youth of our country, and more particularly to talk with youth of our great glorious Adamas University. I am thankful to Dr. Naveen Das, Dr. Ujwal sir, and all others, including my dear friend Joy and every other dean. Whatever I have told you, it is for and on behalf of Adamas University as a representative of Adamas University. So this is voice of mine, but coming from Adamas University. Thank you all students. You have heard me very patiently. I am so proud of you all. God bless you all. Stay safe, be very healthy, and take good care of your health. I'm sure that at 11:30, my brother Dr. Naveen Das is to address you, and I'm going to make over to that great orator. But before that, I can see some hands have been raised. If you have raised your hands, I don't know what is the method. Joy sir, what is the method? Are you reading from chat box or are they asking directly? Joy sir, I think, are you online, Joy sir? It seems he's not online. Well, yes, any one of you, if you wish, you can ask. Otherwise, I have also to say something more, but I have kept this pause only with a view that if you have question, my one-way saying, one-way dialogue will be meaningless if I don't listen to you. Yes. Should you have anything to be asked, anything to be contributed, we are here to receive it, or else I'll step to my another saying. Yes. 4 participant raise hands. Where are they? Dhruva Dhar, you want to ask something? No? Okay. Because I was constantly reading during my lecture that someone, let me see the chat box. Okay. Still 5 participants raise hand. Let me see it. I don't see anything. Okay. Okay. No issue. Then I want to tell you something more. What is that something more where I have become miser? While my say, I wanted to keep half an hour for your question answer, if any, but it seems there is none. So whatever I have cut off in my talk, I would like to tell you those things. Point number 1, I have hurriedly referred Constitution of India. This you must have been taught in 8th standard in your subject of civics. If not, for any examination you wish to give for GK, this comes. So the first and foremost thing is that Constitution of India is the supreme book of law, from where everything comes, that is how to make law, what law is to be made, to what extent the law should be there, what are the fundamental rights, what are the fundamental duties. I will not go step forward because it is all for law student. What are the powers or duties of President of India? What are the powers and duty of High Court? What are the powers and duty of Supreme Court? So those are the things, we leave it for the law student. But what should be known to every student? The first and foremost point, please note in your mind. Never ever in anything in your life, you can say that I do not know that this law exists. I repeat, in other words, sometimes it's really so happen that you do not know that such law exists, and you do something which is prohibited by that law. At that time, quickly you will like to say that, oh, was this law? I never knew this. Please note down that ignorance of law is no excuse. All that you have to ever remember, not only when you are in university, not only till you are student, till you live, till anything happen, till you are required to be accountable for anything, your accountability will not be changed with your defense that I do not know law. So knowledge of law is a presumption. Everyone is presumed to know all the laws of the land. He may be an illiterate person. He may be an ordinary person. He may not be student. He may not be professor. He may be an ordinary hawker. He may be a sweeper. He may be, as I told you, totally illiterate. He may be in prison. Anywhere you are, whatever your education qualification is, there is one constant presumption. That is, you know all the laws so well. So never ever you will get a defense that I do not know law. You are supposed to know law, you are bound to know law, and therefore knowing general about law is very essential. And therefore, in your studies in civics in 8th standard, you have been taught certain fundamental rights. Now, along with fundamental rights, there are fundamental duties as well, which every citizen of this country is bound to obey. So, such fundamental rights are equality before law. You can claim equal treatment, but whenever you claim something, there is always duty to you. Law believes that duty and right are corresponding each other. You cannot claim right alone. You will have to perform duty. So when you have to perform duty, you can't say that I was not knowing it is my duty. If you are driving two-wheeler on the road, though you have not read Motor Vehicle Act, it is expected that you know that where have you to drive, with what speed have you to drive. You cannot drive endangering human life. You cannot drive rashly or negligently. These are the basic norms. So, friends, repeating not only for your life at Adams University. I do not know whether I'll get some another opportunity to tell you all this thing or not. Therefore, I am just drawing your attention for your real life. Don't you ever think that I do not know law is a defense which is available to you. No such defense is available to anyone. Therefore, you are supposed to know what the law is. Now, you may not know the detailed intricacies of the law. Law is based on moral values. Law is based on customs. Law is based on good practices. Law is based on ideal expected human conduct. Therefore, law is not something which is falling from sky. It is something which is made by us for ourselves. And therefore, the presumption in law is everyone knows law, so defense of not knowing law is not a good defense. That is the point number one I wanted to tell you. If anything happened, now coming to Adamas University, forget the whole world. If anything happened, and if you say that I never knew that I have not to do this, that defense is never available. I hope I am clear on this aspect. So one point I have told you that Constitution of India gives certain fundamental right. One such fundamental right is right of equality. Another right is right of speech and expression. Everyone has right of speech and expression. Everyone has right to do business of one's choice. Everyone has right to do the occupation of one's choice. But that one's choice cannot be unlawful. If law has prohibited some business, it cannot be done. So when it is said that every citizen has right to do business of his choice, it is inclusive of business which is lawful of his choice. So nowhere you can even breathe without law, let me tell you. Law is that important. You may be a science graduate, you may be a commerce graduate, you may be MBA, you may be BE, ME, anything. But you have no escape to know law. You may not be expert, but basic things should be known to you. Third, which is important, fundamental right is right of life and liberty. This right of life and liberty stop police from arresting any person in any manner haphazardly without adopting proper procedure laid down for it. So everyone, he may be the highest police officer, but that is applicable to him. Therefore, you should never afraid of anyone when you are doing right thing. If you are doing things according to law, you are not too afraid. The third thing I wanted to tell you, there is a principle called howso higher you are, law is above you. Howso higher you are, the law is above you. Law is the supreme. Therefore, today if someone asks me who rules India, I will not say so and so political party. I will say law rules India because we have a system of rule of law. Next point I wanted to tell you is about fundamental duties. I told you that don't pluck flowers from the garden of Adamas. Because I am speaking as a representative of Adamas, I have told you that. But mind you, this is commonly applicable principle. If you happen to visit some public garden, you are not supposed to pluck the flowers. Why that? Because in Article 51 of Constitution of India, we all citizens have been loaded with fundamental duties. What is the fundamental duty given to me? That I shall not do anything by which environment is disturbed or environmental atmosphere is violated or the norms for the environment is violated or pollution is increased. I am not supposed to do that. So for everything there may not be express law, but there are norms of conduct which is expected and one is supposed to behave accordingly. Why I cannot make mockery of some girl? Because in my fundamental duty, it is written that no citizen shall adopt any derogatory practices which is against dignity of any woman. In other words, it has been written, renounce all derogatory practices, which is derogatory for respect, dignity of any woman. Such thing is to be avoided. So that is one thing which we have to remember. So fundamental right, fundamental duties. There is one more thing which I would love to draw your attention to. You all have successfully, with shining result, cleared 12th. So those who are staying nearby you, at times will ask that I am in this difficulty, please guide me. Because now you will be poised as a very learned person. Because ours is a country where illiteracy is burning issue. So people around us, if are illiterate, and if you have started going in university, they will look with high eyes and high hopes. Therefore, they will sometimes seek your advice. You yourself will feel, I am the just studying, why are you asking me? Better you go. This happened to all our law students. In their first year only, because nowadays uniform is compulsory for law. So when they come out with the black blazer, everyone thinks, oh, he has grown up to a big lawyer. So everyone will look to that person with lot of hopes that here is someone who will give us solution, and everyone will have some or other problem. There is no one on this earth who doesn't have any problem. So I wanted to tell you that whenever any such poor person seeks your any advice, but you do not know that, kindly do not say that I do not know. Always advise that person that go to nearby court where there is free legal services. You have not to pay anything. There is front office where legal counseling is being done. Retired judges or some leading lawyers will be sitting in that office and will be guiding. Suppose tomorrow you have to give an application to collector. You do not know how to draft that application. How should I write to collector if your neighbor is throwing some dirt or dust or dirty things outside your gate? You are aggrieved by it. You wanted that this should be stopped. You do not know that this is nuisance. In law, it is called nuisance, but you might not be knowing it. So you will think that let me go to police station. Police station at times may tell you, we go and give an application to collector. Now you do not know how to draft application. If you go to that front office, they will draft it for you. Free of charge, no charges. Even, let me tell you, in our Adamas University compound, while entering in the gate, on the left side, you must have seen some small cabin. That cabin is also meant for that. That is known as Legal Services Clinic, which is run by law school, because law school has 4 retired judges and teachers, and our law student also take charge of that. So their specific training is being given, or the trained student are put who will know as to how to write which application. Because while drafting application, you must include certain kind of components in that application to get relief. So that is one facility. There also you can assign them to come there and to seek advice. So there is Gange constantly flowing of free and effective legal services, which is inclusive of counseling, which is inclusive of guidance, and that is without any sort of money. It is meant for poor people. So if you come across any poor people, please oblige them. Take their blessings by giving them right guidance. And don't say that I am not student of law, so I do not know. As I have told you, there is remedy to every wrong. What is wrong? If someone has violated my right, it is wrong. If someone has done something by which my fundamental right, by which my civil right is breached, it is wrong. And one more thing, which is again common, over and above these free legal services, I must tell you, this free legal services is also flowing from Constitution of India. As I have told you, there is fundamental right which you have learned in 8th standard, 9th standard in civics. There is fundamental duty which has also been taught to you in your schooling. And the third aspect is directive principles of state policy. How state will rule, how state will do its business, how state will administer justice, how state will run its executives, how state will administer other things, how the revenue office will function, how the secretariat will function, how lawmaking process is being done. What are the things which is essential to make a good law, which is a useful law, which is an essential law, which is a law which can bring some fruitful result in my life, in anyone's life. So that is all bundle of gift given to every citizen of this country in form of Constitution of India. It's a very big book, big book. It takes one complete year only to learn important aspects of it. Nowhere line to line can be taught. It's a very voluminous thing. But I can tell you these are the 4 important things which every student, he may be of any discipline, must know, it being most fundamental things. So these fundamental things must be well known to you, must be informed to you in a proper perspective. We are also thinking to have a small sort of booklet which will give you basic knowledge about the base rules of law, not in details, but law which is essential for day-to-day life, everyday's life, and which is essential for everyone to know as to what is that which is important, which is beneficial to citizens of this country. Lastly, from Constitution of India is generally everything in Constitution of India is applicable to citizen of India. But there are certain things which even if one is not citizen of India, it can be applicable to it. We live in a country where there is rule of law, and rule of law has always 3 dimensions. One is law making agency, which is our parliament and legislative assembly. Law executive agency, which is collectorate, police, secretariat, different ministries, etc. And third is law interpreting agencies, that is judiciary. These 3 wings are the pillars of our democracy, pillars of our rule of law, pillars of our dignity, pillars of our respectful life, pillar of our peaceful existence. But these days, a 4th pillar is also known, that is media. So media is given right under Article 19 for freedom of speech and expression. They are entitled to express, to have freedom of speech, and those are the things which are very, very important segment of the system in which we breathe today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very delighted to speak to you all. I have said already about many things to you, but still I feel that if we will meet again, I'll let you know more and more intricacies and niceties about the justice delivery system, about administration of law, and about many more things